Republicans from Louis Gohmert to Joe Barton, on the other hand, do know what they say on this oil issue, and it's remarkably politically toxic. What are Democrats going to say in response? Joining us now is Democratic Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz of Florida. Congresswoman, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me, Rachel.
Is there an open door to push on here in terms of energy policy, in terms of legislation? Don't Democrats want Republicans to keep talking about oil as much as possible between now and November?
Well, this is a party that is proving every single day that they worship at the altar of big oil and special interests. And, you know, what's incredibly disturbing is that is not just that Joe Barton apologized to BP, or that that they left him in place as the ranking member, but that if the Republicans in November took over the House of Representatives, he would be the chair of the Energy and Commerce Committee and would be directing energy policies. So when it comes to legislation, what we need to be focusing on, and what there has what this oil disaster, if you can find a silver lining at all, has resulted in, is the American people coalescing and beginning to recognize that we have to wean ourselves off our dependence on oil, not just foreign oil, but oil, and pass legislation that will help us invest in renewable energy sources. I mean, that is the way, that is the key to our long-term energy needs.
On the Joe Barton issue, I don't believe that he would be chair of Energy and Commerce if he came back, because of the way they rotate those chairmanships, if nothing else. But it is, I mean, he is being touted as a marquee fundraiser for them at this point, which I just wonder, remember after Joe Wilson yelled, "You lie," at the president, and everybody was horrified and he apologized?
There, I remember.
Yeah, and then he raised all of this money off of it. Is it possible that he becomes like a weird anti-hero for this?
This is a party that has no shame, so absolutely. I mean, these are leaders that will use any opportunity to raise money, and who have no shame. And really, if you look at the comments, not just of Joe Barton, but of Willie Gohmert and Trent Franks and Michelle Bachmann and Tom Price and a litany of Republican members who not only rushed to Joe Barton's defense, but rushed to BP's defense. I mean, this is, Joe Barton was just the tip of the iceberg. You have a Republican conference in the House of Representatives that has consistently been coming to the defense of BP. What about coming to the defense of the residents of the Gulf Coast? What about the defense of the environment? What about the defense of the animals that are coated in oil as a result of this spill? And what about making sure that we can get this thing capped so that eventually we can actually clean it up, and the residents of the Gulf Coast — I'm from a Gulf Coast state, Rachel. I represent the southeast side of Florida, but we're really worried that as the oil begins to spread, it's already beginning to happen on the Gulf, on the Panhandle. We're very worried about it wrapping itself around our peninsula and affecting the East Coast. So this is a party that, when it comes to apologies, needs to be apologizing to the fishermen who, as a result of their lax regulation, as a result of them letting the oil industry mind their own store, ended up in this situation.
Florida Democratic Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz, thank you for being here. And if that oil does get into the loop current and head toward your district, I hope that you'll help us get the word out about what you need in order to defend your space.
You can be sure. Thank you so much, Rachel.